when you start on your bird, you want to make sure that the legs move. So make sure that they're flexible. And move them before you start on your bird, and then make sure that the wings are flexible and that they'll just move. You don't want to break a wing, but just make sure the wings are flexible. Kind of move them in and out so that, actually take the wing and move it in and out so that all the muscles are loose before you start the skinning process. So you got your legs loose and your muscles loose. To make the first incision, what you're going to do is separate the feathers. Some birds, and ducks are not one of them, but some birds have an actual bald spot that runs the length of the keel, which is where you're making the incision. And so if you separate the feathers, you can see that little spot to start your incision. And so your incision is going to start at the top of the keel, and I can feel the keel right there, a bone, and it stops about right here. So I'm going to start my incision right where the keel is up here, and I'm going to run that incision all the way down to the vent. And so the way I do that is pull the feathers apart, and then go ahead and take my fingers and just kind of hold the feathers apart. And I'm only making an incision through the skin, not really into the meat. So I just go carefully, and I see the skin cut apart, and I just start going down, and I pull more feathers apart and continue down. And then you can see that the skin now is open, and you move it back and forth, and below it you can see the breast meat and the keel. And so we kind of open this up and then keep our incision going, and we're going all the way to the vent, but not through the vent. And the vent is going to be, on this bird, there's feathers right here, and they change color, and right below those feathers is the vent. And so when we get down into those feathers, we know that we're close. So I work this incision down. I separate the feathers because I don't want to cut a lot of feathers off. If we lose a few feathers, we're not worried about it. When you get down to the end of the keel, you hit an area that the skin is loose and it's over the internal organs. And there you want to make sure that you do not cut deep into the skin or into the body, because you don't want the internal organs exposed. You just want to cut carefully through the hide. So we continue down this way, and we're trying to make a nice straight incision, and we're trying to go all the way to the vent, but not through it. So the vent is a circular opening, and you're going to cut through the front of it, but you're not going to cut through the back of it. So I'm getting close to the vent, but I can't see the opening yet. So I keep going, and I'm just until I know that I've found, eventually I should be able to see the opening that is the cloaca or the vent. And now I can see that opening, and so I cut up to it. But again, I don't want to cut through the back side of it. I just cut to the front side of it, and then I stop. Alright, once you've done that, then if you take a look at your incision, you should have an incision that is straight, that runs all the way from the top of the keel to the vent. Go ahead and stop it right now.